Secretariat. We were out of power from 2011 to 2019. 2019, a chairman led PDP back to power. And that chairman is Alhaji Omakumi Mustafa. This house is going to be named Omakumi Mustafa House.
He has no job.
We will work with you to build a Nigeria that is not corrupt. I bring you a message of hope.
We are going to spend a lot of resources on education.
Makinde, the repentant, what do you call it? The repentant bad boy in that sense, okay? When he got yoked with the bad guys. But here is the thing. In 2023, when they played themselves politics, he joined the, what do you call it? The battle with Wiki. Ordinarily, without the Solo Makinde, Wiki and all those G-string guys, Kolu will still have been rigged in. You understand what I mean? Like, it will still have been rigged in, and maybe they would possibly have more credibility than this. They openly sabotaged their own political party for Kolu for Tinubu. Now that Tinubu has messed things up, so to say, right? And he wants to keep going. He needs another 4 years. So the weakened PDP that Makinde is pretending to be fighting for right now is so weak that it could barely probably win up to a state or two if they have a real election in that place. And he knows. So you saw this open grandstanding and the rest of that, they are still doing the same, kind of like the same job for Kolu. So with a wicked whose side believes that they are in control right now, they themselves are not planning to put up any sort of like real opposition against the Tinubu in that sense. And if the Solo Makinde camp possibly becomes, or maybe at the end of the day becomes the ones in control of the PDP, it will be which PDP? The one that is already in the ICU, half dead. You know what I mean? So which one? Anyway, the purpose of their fight is to make sure that there will be no viable opposition to Tinubu. And on their part, I think they have delivered. Okay, and I don't think their PDP would ever possibly ever come back again. Just saying. But yeah. So the other part of the stories, right? Here is one of the trending clips about the lifestyle of the criminals in charge of Nigeria, Oshi-Omo-Ole, who I actually thought is still married to that is wife, but for some reason, a trending video of his with another social media influencer, a South African, which has got people talking, that posh lifestyle. Not that they can't afford it, but it's simply because they can only afford it from looting the country in different ways that they have. But here is that clip, if you haven't seen it. Meanwhile, on the ground, the Tifnumbu's son, Shi, has been kind of like doing well, you would say, because he, when people say leave their children out of, your criticism or whatever you say about them, you can't say that of the Tifnumbu's family, because they are very much invested. His son is believed to have his huge political sort of like a cloud that about 3 of his father's ministers became ministers through him. So he is believed to have learned the role from his father, whereby he is using what he has, which is that privilege, to get what he wants, which is the loyalty of the elite who might want a piece of the cake. So in this sense, they've started what they call the City Boys movement. And the City Boys movement is just for these high-flying young, rich elite Nigerians who could help them influence a lot of younger Nigerians, by all means, okay, to support Tifnumbu for 2027 City Boy movement. So their leader or their coordinator, I don't know the title, coordinator or leader for the southeast of Nigeria is no other than that same guy, Cubana. Yeah, they said he's a billionaire, Cubana. So here is he, right, presenting the letter of appointment to the same Cubana for 2027.
I want to first of all say thank you very much for your support to Malami and to Nigeria and to youth and young people in Nigeria, especially in the southern region and the whole country as a whole. On behalf of the City Boy movement, we want to present your recognition letter and appointment letter as the regional director of the Southeast for City Boy. And on behalf of City Boy, I want to say congratulations and thank you very much.
On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate, on your mandate, on your mandate we shall stand. We shall stand. On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate, on your mandate, on your mandate we shall stand.
His mandate and his mandate. Maybe we should quickly remind the first son of the Federal Republic, Sheyi, that among many others, many of these terrorist attacks and killings that happened in the last few days, today, in Faskari, which is, there is a community called Tafoki Ward, in Doma community, Faskari local government area of Katsina State. The terrorists, Fulani terrorists, have killed 24 people. And this was the aftermath.
Hello?
And for the record, that happened in broad daylight when they attacked that community and everybody inside, called the market and all of this, you know what I mean? 24 people gone down by the terrorists. And same thing today, the Tifnumbu's regime, the Dokwemu Stupid Service, the DSS, have charged the former Attorney General of Nigeria, the former Minister of Injustice, Abubakar Malami, and his son called Abdulaziz. Both of them have been charged, well, kind of separate charges though, okay? So the father is charged with protecting terror financiers shielding terrorists from prosecution, sponsoring terrorism, and then money laundering, possession of unlicensed guns, which they believed are used for other criminal activities. They didn't list that. So both father and son, who are both currently still in prison, waiting to be able to fulfill their bail conditions on another money laundering, corruption charges of where they found a lot of properties to his name. But today, it is about terrorism when the hunter becomes the hunted. Malami and his son. To Malami, he keeps saying that he didn't do anything wrong. His arrest, detention, and all the charges are politically motivated. That's his own defense. In 2018, the list of terrorist sponsors, terrorist, backers were made available to the government of Bukwari in Nigeria. And it was also made public, but they didn't give us details of that, but they give us pieces of that information, the names of these, including businesses funding terrorism in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. 2018, Malami was the Minister of Justice of Nigeria at the time. He was busy using all the instruments of the state, right, to criminalize self-determination, to hunt and kill as many of the Easterners as possible that he could kill, and then blame it on the IPOB, and at the same time proscribe them. It was actually like invested so much time and resources on that, while this list of terror sponsors who are wrecking Nigeria, killing and all that, why that one gathered dust on his own on his desk, never to be touched. The terrorists and the sponsors were never questioned. They were never by any means prosecuted. So Malami shielded them, just like Rebad is currently shielding some of these Fulani terrorists. The Office of National Security Advisor to the President is boldly telling us that they issued out thousands of AK-47s and gave them to Miyeti Allah in Nigeria. And then we are seeing Fulani herdsmen, they call them, carrying AK-47 in the open without any form of federal license. And when they asked them, the Badom said, oh yeah, the office gave it to them for protection. Why would you give thousands of AK-47 automatic rifles to herdsmen? And now we have these kidnappings and killings by the same supposed herdsmen. That's exactly what Malami did, as they are accusing him now. He had all this information and he sat on them, so to make sure that those criminals were never touched, were never prosecuted, and they were still like in business. He denied all of that. He said they were all politically motivated. Maybe they are. Yeah, and some of the newly recruited APC thugs doing their own normal procession, which means just walking about in Kano. that's in Kano. And this too was also in Kano.
Nan ga wasu yan Fulani na an kama su sun zo za su wuce da bindigu a hannun su wallahi nan militara ungogu wallahi nan militara wallahi a militara wallahi kun dai.
So children, young people are beginning to get recruited into their political trip or political adventure for 2027, and you begin to see a lot of videos like that on social media. Sometimes you probably will see some of the times where they like be violent, attacking and all that. That's why you see them walking about with those weapons. Those are weapons, or those sticks. They are not just for demonstration, okay? They are there to possibly destroy whenever they are ordered to destroy the opposition. Okolu met with the World Bank today. Yeah, we're talking about the economy of Nigeria. And you know, Cubana and his guys are doing their best to keep doing what they call the rebasing and all of that, and they keep giving you all these false figures and all that. That doesn't really reflect in the lives of an average person in Nigeria. He was telling them about Nigerian youth and their potential and all of that, that the World Bank should come and put money on the youth. Isn't that what they say all the time? But here, call
to the coordinating Minister of Finance, and the Vice President is giving me a full briefing. It's just a joy for me to come back, meet with you again, and give you the assurance that, well, since we've gone into this tunnel of reform, we have our hands on the plow and we're never going to look back. It is very clear that initially it was painful, difficult, but those who win are not those who give up along the way in difficult times. Nigeria is the heart of the continent, and it is necessary for us to do what is necessary to strengthen the economy, particularly looking at the young population of this country, looking at faster area of arable lands. How do we employ mechanization and make agriculture easier? I've embarked upon that. There will be zonal mechanization centers to help the farmers, working on the seedings that we enhance their program, whichever way World Bank can come in on seedings. Now that our petrochemical industry is getting, good output, so how do we help the farmers to convert local market for fertilizers to improve their yields and move them from ordinary small-scale holders to huge cooperative and confidential farmers that can bring, opportunity to Nigerians. That's about it. The remaining assurance is for me to assure you that reform is a continuous exercise. We're not looking back.